say nothing out loud. Don't hold his arm. Don't hold his arm, First Lady. He all right. Beautiful place during the day. Nighttime, gotta lock the doors.
He got married, then married again.
Is this how y'all do it homestead? Y'all just take
Like, I'm only kidding. You don't have to come up.
sip some water and just leave it up there for people? They said, no, hablo inglés. He said, comedy show.
Yes.
I said, God can turn your life around. He did it for me. He turned my life around 360 degrees. Okay, some of y'all need to go back to math class. Y'all like, what's the problem with that?
That was a great show we had down in Homestead, Florida. We had a lot of fun throwing that one together. Ladies and gentlemen, we are talking with the very funny and talented Kasaun Wilson, all the way live from Los Angeles, California. And as I said before, he's been all over the country. He's been in colleges and universities. He's been at the laugh tracks in Los Angeles, the Comedy Store. He's on a show called Laugh Tracks. He's been with a lot of awesome comics. And currently, once again, the pandemic got in everybody's way. He's hosting the show Youthful Praise with J.J. Harrison. And speaking of that, Kasaun, how is that show going right now?
It's going well. But listen, JJ is an incredible man. I definitely can say that. He's Grammy nominated and Stella Award, but being around him, you would just never ever know that. Like he carries himself like a Walmart manager. He's just so cool and chill and relatable and down to earth. So doing the show is actually pretty easy because we're just talking. Like we literally just talk and have fun. I think the best shows for me, the best shows always should feel like it's like the barbershop. You know what I'm saying? Like you just talking in the bar. That's where the best conversations happen, around a dinner table, on the couch watching the game, in the barbershop, in the hair salon, whatever place of business applies for you. But that's what it feels like doing the show. So it's a complete pleasure.
Hey, son, what is it about the barbershop, though, dude? I mean, the brothers, man, we get in the barbershop, man, and it's just a special vibe in that joint. What is it about the barbershop, Kasaun?
You know what it is about the barbershop? It's the closest thing to therapy that Black men are allowed themselves to go to. Like we should be in therapy. We should be talking to a licensed professional. But at least at the barbershop, it's like listen, I've learned so much of my life from the barbershop. And that's good and bad. Like it's not all good. Like there's some terrible things you learn at the barbershop. But it's just like, guys should talk about their feelings. They should talk about what's going on in the world. They can talk about sports. You can talk about anything, and you can do it all at the shop, which now it's like everything's by appointment. So you don't really get like there's no real barbershop anymore. But it's so much, especially for like kids like myself who didn't have as much of a male presence growing up. It's like the one place you can go where it's like uncles and brothers and cousins. It's just it's dudes. It's just dudes. We should be in therapy, but the barbershop is like the thing that we allow ourselves to go to.
Now, see, this is great joke material right here. You and I both got to take this and do a brain dump on the barbershop. There's a lot of joke material in there, Kasaun. Matter of fact, I'm going to do that. We got to get back with each other and see what we came up with, because there's tons of material in that, man.
Oh, I'll do that.
Tons of material in that.
Oh, that's a fact. So listen, I'll tell you the one thing, because I grew up in Jersey City, New Jersey. A lot of people think I grew up in DC, but I went to Howard. Okay. So growing up in Jersey City, and I've never said this out loud, which is crazy. So my barber growing up was Doc. So up until I was like 13, my mom picked my barber for me. But she always picked people who knew people from the church. So there was always this old guy who went to our church, but he gave me like ringworms like 2 or 3 times. Like it was the work, and my mom just kept sending me to this dude. That's just out of loyalty.
Out of loyalty. Oh my gosh.
And my mom started dating this guy, and he had a cousin named Doc, and Doc was the coolest dude I had ever met in my life. And up until I was like 15, I used to hang out at the barbershop like all day. Like my cut would be done at like 1, but I would tell my mom I wasn't up yet just so I could hang out there till like 5 or 6.
Yeah.
And
just hanging out and shop with the fellas.
I'm pretty sure that they were smuggling illegal materials out of that barbershop. I'm
Probably.
But man, was it the coolest time of my life? It was the closest thing to a Big Brother program you could probably get in my hood. So, so I mean, it's like, all right, listen, we don't have mentoring programs on the block. There's no trap house mentoring programs, but the barbershop is kind of like where everybody, plus when you get like a fresh haircut, that's like the that's the highest sense of self-esteem a man can have. It's like,
it is. It's
when you feel the most confident. So it's like getting it's like you know how they say black joy?
Yeah.
Black boy joy or whatever it is. It's like the barbershop is where all the men have that joy because we're all
everybody leaves the barbershop feeling like they're Denzel Washington.
Unless you go to that guy, which is every barbershop has like that one dude where they're like, whoa, nah. You should.
Marcus Brown says trap houses should not mentor the youth. Right.
I mean, it depends. All right, so it depends. I can't say that necessarily because when I grew up, like in the 90s in Jersey City, it's like thugs are completely different than thugs now. Thugs now, they'll beat up kids, women. There was like a code.
Cards.
Oh, there was a code of ethics growing up. Like the thugs, all right. So like I knew the thugs in my neighborhood were probably not gonna live that long. Yeah. I knew it. Like we all knew they were drug dealers. Like
everybody knew that, yes.
But so I would have to wait. Man, every time I get with you, I start telling stories I've never told before. All right, so so everybody knows I was like a sheltered church kid.
Yeah.
So up until the 8th grade, I went to a private school. A private Christian school, and they would pick you up from your house and take you to school. Like I never had to take a school bus. They would pick me up from my house and take me to a whole nother city in Bayonne.
Oh man.
My mom wanted me to live, so it's a thing. But for maybe one of those years, my block was blocked off. Like you couldn't get on the block because the bridge was broken.
Okay.
So I had to walk like a half a mile down to the corner to catch the bus. And it's like 6 o'clock in the morning. And it's still dark. But if it's one thing about thugs in the 90s, they had impeccable work ethic. They were out there early. They were smuggling drugs before the crack of dawn. Like there are certain and every single day that I saw them on the corner and they saw me waiting for the school bus, they always told me every single day, don't end up out here like us.
Yeah.
Cool are you doing schoolwork? Don't end up out here like us. Every time they saw me and my grandmother walking to church, because our church was around the corner, they would always be like, "How you doing, Miss Wilson? Turn the music down." They would stop. I don't know why, but it was just a code of ethics. They would like, "Hey, Miss Wilson, how are you? Make sure you say a prayer for us." And then when we walked away, they would turn juvenile back up, but there was like a respect there. You know what I'm saying? Like they didn't want kids to be out there like them. They were just like, we had to do this. You don't have to do that. But
no, you're right. I mean, thugs had a code of ethics thugs back in the day were thugs because they had to be to survive. Right. You see what I'm saying? But thugs today are just fronting. They're just stunting. And what's funny to me, you see what I'm saying, Kasaun? And what's funny to me, you got all these kids that live in cul-de-sacs trying to be thugs.
Yo.
Hey.
Exactly.
I mean, hey, really? You're a thug wearing braces?
Listen, I'm honest about mine. I grew up in the hood, but my mom did not let me be a part of it. My mom had a strong. I didn't know what my block looked like off the porch until I was like 13.
Yeah.
So, that's probably true.
That's probably true.
But they didn't let me see it, and that's the point. They waited until I got on the school bus to kill people, and that's worth something. Now they're doing it in the daylight. Now they're doing it at the school.
Yeah. They are. They are. But you're right though. It's a different kind of thug today versus yesterday. There was a method, as it were, to the madness back in the day. Now guys are just trying to be something that they're not. What they think they're trying to live up to this image of what cool is. It's a whole different ballgame. But let me just ask you something, and we got to do this barbershop stuff. That's a lot of gold in there, man. But so what's been going on out there in California with the pandemic? I've heard that some shows, I know on the East Coast, some people are doing outdoor shows in DC, and then they're doing shows socially distanced in some restaurants. What's going on in Los Angeles?
The same thing.
Okay.
People dying, people not wearing masks when they should be. Earthquake. Listen, I don't understand it. Just wear the mask. It's not that hard.
Just wear it.
Just put it on. Just wear the mask.
You know what I find funny is you get people at the grocery store, for example, that will wear a mask and be defiant about it. Like everybody's got a mask on, but you got this one person in line at the checkout with no mask on, and they're defiant about it. Like, I dare somebody to say something to me. That's the look. And I'm like, just put a mask on. What are you doing? I don't understand, kid. You're right. You have a lot of that.
It's like my rights have been, no, they haven't. Just put a mask on.
Just put a mask on. I saw what I don't get it, man. And I'm telling you, and they wear a Kasaun, and they walk with a defiance. If you see them anywhere out and about, I dare you to say something to me. I'm like, I'm not gonna say anything to you. You good, man? Do what you do, man. I'm wearing my mask. I'm good.
But it's like, all right, here's the thing. All these videos are like in like a Whole Foods or a Shoppers or it's like a grocery store. Like you punking a 16-year-old kid because you don't want to wear a mask because it's oppressive, so you can come inside and get broccoli. Like what are we doing? I don't get it. But so California is actually, the weather is really great, so they've done a lot of outdoor stuff. They made a lot of stuff for outside, so there's like drive-in movies.
Okay.
A few places have tried to do like socially distant comedy shows where you can have like 40 or 50 people in the room, but that gets kind of tricky. So a lot of people are doing Zoom, obviously, doing stuff online. But actually, last week I did my first shout out to Drive Up Comedy in San Diego. But they're doing like essentially like a drive up comedy. So people pull into a parking lot, they can turn on their radio and hear us through their radio. And we're just literally doing comedy outside. So nobody has any contact whatsoever. Everybody stays in their car.
Okay.
It was very, very different. Very different. Maurice.
Wow.
Very different. Very different. All right. So you got to think like when you doing stand-up, right? You used to like laughs.
Yeah.
Or if you're bombing, at least you're used to expecting them, possibly.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, you know, like this is a laugh. I'm doing well. I'm not doing well by the sound of the laughter.
Yeah.
Because it's a parking lot with like 100 cars and people are listening through their radio. So all their windows are up. Unless sometimes you can hear like faint laughter. People like really like, but the way they did it was if they thought something was funny, they would honk their horn.
Okay.
So you're like hitting a punchline. You're like, yeah. And they're like, and it felt like heckling. Like, just think about it as a comedian. And it's dark. It's like 8:30 at night. So it's like pitch dark with just like a few headlights on and the street lights.
Yeah.
And when people think your joke is funny or you say something they can relate to, like, how's everybody doing tonight? Like, and you just gotta like tell jokes. It took some adjusting, but it was great. Mal Hall was there, Alonzo Bowden. It was a really dope show.
And speaking of dope shows, you were talking about virtual and Zoom. You have a show coming up in October.
Yeah, so it's called K's House Party. We're launching it in October. So it's kind of like a show, but it's not. So I've been doing Zoom calls with my family every Sunday, and we play games every single Sunday, and they're so fun and they're so interactive. So we're doing something new called K's House Party. I do a birthday show every year in DC, and since being with people is deadly, we're gonna do it virtually this year. But we're gonna just merge the two and launch K's House Party. So K's House Party is essentially like a game night meets a versus meets a stand-up comedy show. So you're gonna have a little comedy, you're gonna have a few games, and then we're gonna have some dope music. I have a incredible DJ. I can't wait to tell everybody who it is, but I'm gonna hold on for letting people know who that is. But man, and we're gonna have some conversation, man, because there's certain things that I say on social media that people have a very strong opinion about. So we're just gonna get it out in the open. Like, for instance, I told people I think 10 times out of 10 I would choose peach cobbler over sweet potato pie.
Yeah.
And man, that did not go over well. People were thoroughly upset about that. But peach cobbler, sweet potato pie. That's how it is for me.
Well, look, dude, I mean, you can't beat it either way, man. I mean, I'll take either one as far as I'm concerned, dude. But hey, look, so you were talking about Al Freeman Jr. And when you were at Howard University, I mean, tell us a little bit about that story and how he motivated you to get into stand-up.
Yeah. Wow. Well, first of all, rest in peace, Al Freeman Jr. Yeah, sweet potato pie is trash. But we'll talk about that at K's House Party. The link is in my bio on IG at the Life of KAY. Just go ahead and check it out. So I went to Howard University to be a theater arts major. I started off as a musical theater major, and once I went to my first classical dance class, I was like, nope, this ain't it. So I transferred to acting. And my junior year, my professor was the great Al Freeman Jr., who most people would know as the Honorable Elijah Muhammad from Spike Lee's Malcolm X.
Oh, wow. Didn't know that, man.
Oh, yeah. I mean, just great actor. Please Google him. He's incredible. The great Al Freeman Jr. One Life.
I will definitely do that. I had no idea. Wow.
Yeah, great soap opera star, amazing actor, just great dude. So our junior year, he gave us an assignment to write an original monologue with an original character. And that was going to be our work for the whole semester. And once I performed my original monologue, he stopped at the end and was like, "What was that?" And I was like, "Well, that's my original monologue." And he was like, "No, it's not." He was like, "That was stand-up comedy, what you just did." And I was like, "What?" He was like, "No, that was stand-up comedy." And I was like, "No, that was my original character, and this is his backstory." He was like, "I get it. I hear what you're saying. But that wasn't a monologue. That's not a character. That was you doing stand-up."
Wow.
I was like, "Nah, no, it's not." And he was like, "All right, bet, cool. If you really think that, then I challenge you to go to a comedy open mic and perform your monologue and let me know how it goes." So I was like, okay. So a bunch of friends and I went to the old Riot Comedy Club on 14th Street in DC.
Okay.
And we went to open mic night.
Yeah.
Now here's another part of the story that you should know. And again, never told this out loud.
Okay.
To this day, I have never had the chicken pox. To this day. Never had shingles, chicken pox, nothing.
Okay, wow.
My first day at Howard, when I woke up, when I moved to the Carver Hall in DC, when I moved into my dorm, my whole body was broken out. And like my whole body, like face, arms, legs, everything was broken out.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my God, my first day of college. And I actually got the chicken pox on my first day of college. I was freaked out.
Wow.
I went to the hospital, Howard Hospital, which that was my last time. and I found out that it was not the chicken pox. I had bed bugs.
Goodness.
Yeah, and it was throughout my whole room. On my first night at Howard, I not only had bed bugs, but I had mice in my room. So the doctor was like, "Hey, just so you know, all the new clothes you bought for school, you have to throw all of those away, like everything." Like I had got
FYI.
Yeah, I had to get a whole. Yeah, like, hey, by the way, this is what you take. This is how you get better. Oh, and just throw everything you own in the trash. Like you have to start.
Oh, by the way,
your first day, your second day of college, you have to start everything fresh, and you can't even wear the clothes on your back. You have to throw those away and get out because we don't want your bed bugs. Like it really was like that.
Oh
so,
my gosh.
So, man, don't do me like that, Marcus. It wasn't that bad. So, I say that to say because that night my mom had to drive me up to Delaware. First of all, we're not going to do the Hampton Howard debate in here today. Hampton Institute can take a back seat just for the day. So my mom had to drive me up to Delaware to get my high school clothes, the ones I had not thrown away.
Yeah.
Just so I had something to wear. And I only say that because I want to describe to you the outfit that I actually had to wear at the riot at, because these are the only clothes I had at the time.
Yeah.
I was wearing a yellow, orange, and cranberry Coogee sweater, some blue jeans, which were actually my mom's jeans. I had white tube socks and some black Stacey Adams dress shoes. That's the outfit that I wore to my first comedy open mic.
Okay.
And the only reason why that's important is because when I walk into the open mic, every single comedian destroyed me. And rightfully so. It was, I mean, if you picture that outfit, it's just nothing. It's a reason to roast.
Yeah.
So I had on this Coogee sweater.
Matter of fact, you may as well have written "roast me" on your chest.
And I sat in the front row. And the thing is, I sat in the front row because I thought, all right, maybe if I sit close to the stage and my knees are up on the stage, they can't see that it's the Coogee sweater, the jeans, and then the shoe combination. Maybe if it's just the sweater and the jeans, maybe they'll leave me alone.
Oh man.
Because everybody saw me walk in. So literally it was just bad. It was a roasting session. And every single
Wow.
And I remember that day because I met a really great guy, good comic. His name is Haywood Turnipseed Jr. He was the host that night. And
he was probably the ringleader.
Absolutely. And I remember it because the first time, I think after like the first time he roasted me, it was like, all right, cool. And then I think after like the 7th or 8th roast, he went back on stage and the look of shame, it wasn't shame, but I could tell he felt bad for me because he was like, man. And then the next comic came up and he was like, all right, come to the stage. Like, let's just keep this roast going. Yeah. And so my friend Kyle, shout out to Kyle Jones.
Yeah.
He said like, yo, man, you need to get back at these people. And I was like, yeah. And I thought I was going to go up, but I just figured like, I don't want to just get roasted all night and then go up because then they're going to, not only will I get roasted more, but then they're actually going to see the whole outfit. So I don't want to go up there and give context to the whole roast. Like then they'll be like, oh, that's what he was talking about a half an hour ago. Like I didn't want to.
Yeah.
So I said like, oh, I'm not going to go. Maybe I'll go again next time. But my friend Kyle, without me knowing, unbeknownst to me, went up to the host and put my name on the list. And he came back like 20 minutes later and was like, hey, you're up next. And I was like, all right, whatever.
Yeah.
And then Haywood went up on stage and was like, hey, come to the stage, Kasaun Wilson. And I walked on stage and I don't know why. And I had never done it before in my life. I didn't grow up doing this, but I just roasted everybody back there that roasted me. And then
right.
I told 2 jokes. One about, well, I don't want to say what it was about, but I told 2 jokes.
Yeah.
And it went over really well. And then I went back to the next class and he was like, how did it go? And I was like, man, it was great. They loved it. And he was like, right, because it's stand-up comedy. And I've been doing it ever since. So it really, I was pushed into it, but it's been the best journey of my life.
Now, Kasaun, as a man of God, which you are, I want to ask you, because you're out in the city. When you were in DC, we used to run into each other all the time. I remember when we met each other at a show. We were doing a show at I guess it was a cafe slash church. You had a lot of old heads old heads in there in the church. But anyway, it was fun. It was a fun show.
Yeah.
But and so that's where we met. But like I said, we're both Christian comics. How does your faith influence you as a performer?
Oh man, that's a great question. I think I'll say two things. One, in terms of like what I want to talk about, and I guess artistic integrity, if you want to call it that. I don't know. It sounds too deep, but it affects the way I think and the way I write and what I want to talk about. And and the impact that I want to make on people. Like, and to be honest, I think the biggest impact for me is that I'm just comfortable being myself. And I think that's what's helped out a lot. Like, I don't push anything on anybody. I don't judge people. Like, I don't do my set and then come off stage like I don't go on stage in like a comedy club like, y'all need to stop all this drinking in here. Like it's just not.
Yeah. Right.
I think what has helped me a lot is that I am grateful that people have accepted me as I am. Like, people know I don't drink, I don't smoke, I don't curse. You know what I'm saying? Like, but I don't judge people for where they are either. Like, people don't come around like, oh, here come Kasaun. At least I hope that's not how I make people feel.
No, people definitely don't say that about you, bro. I can tell you that for a fact.
Yeah. So I think it just really impacts me because I'm confident in it. Yeah. And I've had comics come like, hey, this is going on in my life, or I've had comics come to church with me and nobody knows. Like, but it's not. I feel like my impact on the culture and the scene is just being an example. You know what I'm saying? And I think the time for more is up to each person. You know what I'm saying? But I think it affects me in what I write, how I write, and how I think. Obviously, it's who I am. Yeah. I think being a Christian is who I am. I think being Black is who I am. I think being a family person is who I am. I think being from Howard and growing up with a very Afrocentric mom is who I am. And I think who you are comes out regardless of what you do, especially if you're artist, who you are comes out. But just in my interactions with people, I'm just so confident in who I am as a person that I don't feel the need to. I think people accept me and I accept them. And I think just being an example, and people have questions about Christianity sometimes. And like, every time something, I don't know if this happens to you, but every time something happens in church that's like a scandal, people text me like, yo, what's up with your boy? Every time, yo, I don't know why comics do it, but every time it's a pastor in the news, they be like, "Yo, you see your boy? What's up with your boy?"
No, that happens. Oh yeah, that happens all the time.
That's why I don't go to church. Look at your boy. I'm like, I don't know him. Why are you telling? I get it, but it's like he's one person, and everybody, you know what I'm saying? But it shows that people affiliate me with my faith, and I can at least appreciate that. Yeah. But like, hold on, they're like, Pastor gets caught doing XYZ, and they're like, yo, what's up with your boy?
Yeah, what's up with your boy?
I don't know him. I don't know that guy, but I'll answer your questions if you have them, and I have. It's just funny that people like associate somebody in like Des Moines, Iowa with me, but it's like, I'll take that. I'll take it.
Well, you should put that on stage. Yeah, that's another joke topic to work on too. That's a good one right there to do a brain dump on and come up with a ton of jokes out of that. Just sit down and just start writing about what's up with your boy, man. You probably get like nine good jokes out of that. That's a good one, because it happens all the time. Yeah. People say that to Christians when a pastor gets caught up in a scandal, and they'll see you on the street, go, "Hey, yo, Mo, what's up with your boy, man?" I'm like, I don't know, man. What happened? You tell me. I haven't even heard. But I think when you go out as a comic, you just kind of fit in with the scene. I mean, you're not judgmental or anything like that. You just do your thing, and you talk about relevant topics that everybody else is talking about. You're just not being lewd, and a lot of people respect that, you know. And that's why I asked you, how does your faith influence you as a performer? What are the mechanics of your approach? And you know, and sometimes it's just like, well, I'm just going there to have fun, and like everybody else, people know who I stand for and what I stand for. Now, just go out here and be funny. I mean, it's pretty simple.
Yeah,
and I think that's how people look at you, and you have a lot of respect in the comedy community.
I appreciate that. I hope so. I mean, I don't know.
You do.
I just be trying to be cool. But the thing for me is like, I never wanted to, and I respect people who do. Like, I know the Christian comic, am I a Christian like, I know that conversation can go on for years, but I don't really necessarily get into that because I never go on stage like, hey, after my set, like, hey, did anybody realize that I haven't cursed one time? Like, generally, like, it happens to me so often where I'll come off stage or after the show and somebody be like, yo, I don't think he cursed one time. And I'm like, oh, no, I didn't. And I don't want people to notice. But that's the thing. Like, I think when you say like you're a clean comic or you identify as a Christian publicly, I think there's like this thing where people, hey, Green. I think there's this thing where people are like, all right, cool, it's clean.
Yeah.
But like, I'm like, no, it's not clean. It's just comedy that happens to be clean.
Well,
like,
you know what? Yeah. And the thing is, Case, you would hope as a faith-based performer, whether you're singing, dancing, comedy, whatever, that you're making a difference. I did a show once. There's this female comic, dude. She would go to every show and just heckle. She's a comic too. And she would just heckle almost every comedian, right? And every time she walks in the door, all the comedians kind of go, "Oh no, she's here." That's how bad it is, right? So I was there, man, and I was talking about relationships, I was making jokes about relationships, like women are always smarter, date smarter, you know. And my son is like, you know, you didn't have to tell me that. You do everything Mom tells you to do. So yeah, I know. But the bottom line is, this woman came to the front of the stage. She just looked at me, right? She was quiet. She was well behaved. She didn't say a word, right? This is the heckling comedian.
Okay.
The female.
Mm-hmm.
And she just will watch my set. She didn't say anything, right? And so I came there to that spot the next week and I saw her, right? And she motioned me over and she said, I really appreciate the joke that you were telling about relationships because I'm in an abusive relationship, you know, and apparently the guy's been beating on her and all that type of stuff. And I don't know, but she just said it helped her to kind of understand that, you know, sometimes you have to be proactive to get out of situations like that. And I mean, I was just telling a regular joke, but it was kind of interesting. You never know how you're going to affect someone if you just try to take the high road, as it were. Because I was like, whoa, man. Yeah. Okay.
You know, I don't want, like, if I turn on ESPN, I don't want the headline to be like, this team hires a black coach.
Yeah.
It's like, no, they just got the best coach out there.
Yeah.
The best coach just happens to be black. Like, that's the whole point of equality, is that it's just normal.
It's just normal. Right.
And I hope that great comedy that happens to be clean is normal, because there's so many great ones out there. So I think that's what it's about. I think that's the same thing with the story you just told, which is like, I'm just doing me. This just happens to be me. Like, I'm not
right.
I obviously I make a point in my stand-up. I let my jokes speak for themselves, because you write them and you have so much nuance and things you want to say that's in them. But I let it speak for itself, and it's this is my normal. Like whatever I am, I'm giving it to you, and this just happens to be me, and that's what I always want to do. Like even as I evolve, like as I learn myself, I just want to give it to people, and that's kind of how I just go through life. I don't think too much about it.
Well, no, you don't want to overthink it. Just like I said, that's how the most comics in DC view you. You're a guy that you're just a regular dude talking about everything that everybody else is talking about, and you're funny. That's the main thing, and you're funny, and so you got a lot of respect of the community. How do you deal with hecklers, Kasaun? You ever get any hecklers?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I used to be, I think I used to be known for roasting people, but yeah.
Wow. I never would have imagined that.
I know, but like,
no, I take that back. Wait a minute. Hold on. Time out. I take that back. I would imagine you are a killer as a roaster if you want to be. Yeah. I can believe that.
I really don't like it. I'll tell you why. I'm pretty non-confrontational.
Okay.
And I know myself. Like I know I'm not like a good morale roaster. Like I'm not trying to just have fun. Like I used to like try to hurt people's feelings. And I just don't want to be that dude. So generally speaking, I do get it, but you have to like assess what kind of heckler it is. Some people heckle because they think they're helping the show. I mean, genuinely. I had a family member who came to a show.
Yeah, they do. They do think that a lot of times. Yeah.
And I came on stage and I was like, "What's up?" And they were like, "Yeah." And I was like, "All right, thank you." And they just
take it down.
And they the whole time they were like, "Kasaun." And I was like, and after the show, they were like, "Yo, we killed it." I was like, "We? Who is we?"
We?
But in their mind, I'm not gonna say my cousin's name, but in his mind, he was like, "I was just trying to like get you hype." I was like, "That's not how it works, cuz."
That's not how it works.
I'm pre-hyped already. I come pre-packaged.
Yeah.
But it's different type of hecklers. Some people don't know. Some people just need to kind of be reset. So I think it's different. Like but I also don't come with that energy. I'm not coming on stage like, "What's up, man? Say something to me." Like I'm not that dude. So if you heckle me, you have to really try. Like,
yeah,
it's like everybody has one person in their life that you think like, hey, if you don't like that person, something's probably wrong with you. Like your wife is like that, where it's like, you're just such a nice person. I just can't imagine somebody disliking her. She's just a great person. She's just
super nice person. Yeah, she is.
Right. So somebody was like, "Man, I don't like Maurice's wife." I'd be like, "I don't know. Something
not right with you."
Right. You have to really try. Like my grandmother's like that. Just the sweetest person in the world. What up, Angel? The sweetest person in the world.
Yeah.
So it's like if somebody ever said like, "I don't rock with her like that," I'm like, tell me what happened, because you had to misinterpret something.
Yeah.
So I did a show. I did another outdoor show in LA in Leimert Park. Shout out to Eats and Giggles Comedy Show. Check them out if you're in LA.
Okay.
So I did this show, and it's in the middle of the hood in LA, or at least what I would consider the hood. I haven't explored LA as much, but
okay.
It was the most black people I had seen in a long time, because I live in Mexico. So we're doing the show, and this is all I said. All I said was, in the neighborhood I grew up in.
Yeah.
I said, in the neighborhood I grew up in.
Okay.
This guy across the street, who was not a part of the show, but he was just outside. They were like playing dominoes or something. He heard it and thought that I was disrespecting Nipsey Hussle. because neighborhood is like a Crip.
He's from Compton, right?
Yes, but neighborhood is like a term used for. It's a term that he's very, very much associated with.
Got it.
I was making a joke about the neighborhood, and when he heard me say neighborhood and heard people laughing, he thought that I was making fun of Nipsey.
Uh-oh.
So he came out. He was like, "What you say about Nipsey? I'll kill you."
Wow.
And that's not the part that freaked me out. The part that freaked me out is that so it was an outdoor show and everybody's standing up. So everybody is in an alley and everybody's standing up in a line. As soon as he said that, everybody moved out the way. And I was like, whoa, y'all gonna move out the way. So y'all giving him a path to do what he just said. Like that is I don't feel safe. And but the whole neighborhood, but the neighborhood came together and they I guess made a barricade so they at least someone. There was the bullet had to go through someone before it got to me. But it's like stuff like that where it's like, no, that's not what I meant, sir. Like literally, I didn't mean that at all. Like
Did he get it?
Huh?
Did he understand?
Nah. All right. So I think the video might still be up on my IG. If not, I'll repost it today. But it's at the Life of KAY. My website is thelifeofkay.com. So if you throw in a the before the life.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I was gonna ask you about that. Okay.
I'm not responsible for anything that website takes you to because I'm the.
Thanks for correcting me, man. I wasn't 100% sure. I meant to ask you.
Oh, 100% fine. You already know. It's all good. It's all love. But he heckled me through the rest of my entire set.
Oh my gosh.
So he yelled through the rest of my whole set. And but
is that better? Okay.
Oh, it's all love. It's all love. Appreciate it. But yeah, he heckled me through the rest of my entire. He yelled through the entire set.
Oh, wow.
Which on an outdoor show is like, but I had a microphone and the crowd loved it. And I talked to him for the rest of my set. And I'll just try to explain to him there was a misunderstanding. But when I told my last joke and I was like, hey, all right, it's time for me to get out of here. He said, yes, it is. And that's when I knew, like, all right, cool. Let me go ahead and get out of here. Because I was headlining. I had done like 30 minutes already.
And you did well.
It was a great show. Great show. Great show. And
he could not destroy your role, but he kept trying.
You know, it's like this. If someone's heckling you and the crowd is on your side, the crowd wants the heckler not to mess the show up. If you are bombing, the heckler is speaking for the people.
Well, no, that's true. That's
like if you bombing,
it kind of works in both ways. Yeah,
it depends on your relationship with the rest of the crowd. But
you know, the hood mentality, the mob mentality is real. I used to substitute teach in Alexandria, Virginia, and I got this hood class, dude. I walked in, those kids weren't listening to nothing I said. Dude. I walked in the room, I mean, it was cussing and flying airplanes. I said, everybody sit down. Man, they looked at me like I was crazy. And then I said, come on, everybody sit down. I'm not going to say it again. You know what? All of a sudden, the bully, get this over at T.C. Williams. The bully stood up. He said, we ain't doing nothing. Hey, yo, everybody party, right? All the kids, they got the desk, everything. They cleared everything out so he could have room. I was like, oh, hey, look, Kate, this kid comes up to me, man. He's like, nose to nose on me like this, right? I'm a great big kid, right? And I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, you know what? I'm winning. And if we have to tear this room up, we're going to tear this room up. That was my mindset, right?
You about to hit the kids?
No, but the kid was getting ready to hit me. Hey, look. Hey, the kid was getting ready to hit me. Hey, look, man, listen, this is what happened, though. The kid came up. I mean, we're nose to nose, right? And the kid, you know what we did, man? Right at the same time, we both broke out and started laughing. That kid said, "You know what? Everybody put the desk back. This dude's okay." And that kid, he was my best friend for the whole year. But
Oh,
it was a mob mentality. You know, they were just street kids. You know, it was just one of those. What do you call those classes? They call it STAR at TC. I'm sure at your school they have a word for where they place those type of emotionally disturbed children. Anyway, but it's funny that mob mentality. You know what I mean, dude? It's like, man, you know when it's getting ready to go down, and you get ready to get jumped or whatever, man. It's funny how that is, you know.
Hey, can I just say this real quick, Maurice?
Yeah.
So you see Chaz Kane right here. All right, you see this comment? Let me tell you why this comment is so funny. Charles Kane is a great man. I love him with all my heart.
Oh yeah, tremendous guy.
He has this philosophy that if you bombing, you need to just be like, "Hey, thank you for your time. I'm out." Yo, Charles is complete. If somebody's heckling you and you lose the room, he like, "All right, just get off stage. You lost.
Yeah, just go."
Like you can't even work your way back. I remember somebody went on stage and they were like, it was like first joke, and they bombed like 45 seconds, and they were like slated to do like 15, and Charles was like, "We good." It's like, no, let him at least try to fight. He was like, "Nah, ain't no fight. You lost." First round KO. Just let it go. I've always respected Charles for that.
Well, hey, Kasaun, speaking of that, what is your worst bomb experience? The worst that's ever happened to you?
Listen, people think just because they see you and you do great, that means that you never slip up or you never have a rough night. I've had
that's a fallacy. It happens.
A rough night. So, man, okay. I don't know if Maurice, I promise you, you get more stories out of me than I actually tell on my own podcast, which is crazy.
Okay.
The Life of. Check out my podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, all that. Check it out. The Life of.
Yes.
So, and if you search my name, you'll find it. Kasaun Wilson. Man, okay. So this was years ago. It was absolute years ago. So I had just finished doing a whole weekend at the Improv with Donnell Rollins, and I think it was like my first or second time featuring for a weekend.
Okay.
What up, Aaron? It was my first or second time. My first or second time featuring, and at the time, Donnell was on the radio every day. He was on Big Tigger Show. So
okay,
and Danella.
Okay.
And also at the time, Big Tigger had a monthly show at the National Harbor called Last at the Harbor, I think, or something like that.
Yeah.
So we had just finished a weekend at the Improv, and I mean, like, destroyed it. Like 7 or 8 shows, sold out, crushed it.
Yeah.
And mind you, this weekend shaped so much of my life. I can't tell. I'm going to try to tell you all the lessons I learned at some point.
Okay.
But I just destroyed. And the Last at the Harbor show was on a Monday. So we had done 2 or 3 shows Friday, 2 or 3 shows Saturday, 2 shows on Sunday. And Big Tigger came on Saturday and Sunday. And he was like, "Yo, you destroyed, man. I want you to come do my show at the Harbor." And I was like, "All right, cool." So I get dressed. I go to the Harbor. And I'm in such a naive state of mind. I had just crushed it the whole weekend. I got it. I don't have to do nothing. I'm just going to destroy like I have been all weekend.
Yeah.
And they threw me up first. First of all, comedy intros are so important, at least to me. Most of the time they're important because it sets the stage for all right, it's time to
listen. Sets the tone.
Yo, the DJ, So generally, like when a comedy show starts and it's a DJ, the DJ's playing music or whatever, right? And after that, the DJ's like lets the music go down. They're like, all right, yo, everybody, welcome to the Last of the Harbor Show. My name is such and such. Y'all ready to have a good time? Yeah. Are y'all ready to have a good time? Yeah. I know y'all can do better than that. Are you ready to have a good time? Yeah. All right. Well, first, coming to the stage, welcome, Kasaun Wilson. Like, that's what I expected.
Yeah.
The DJ's playing music, right? And he just stops the music and he goes, Kasaun Wilson. Mind you, this is like a restaurant. So it's like 300, 400 people in there, like ordering, getting drinks, laughing. Like the sound in the room is
bumping.
through the roof.
Yeah.
The place is jumping. It's music. People like eating like chicken wings and just like chilling. And the DJ just scratches the music like, Kasaun Wilson. And I was like, oh, okay, that's it. And they're like, go, go, go. And I run on stage and I go, what's up? And the crowd is like, oh, and the mic wasn't on. So,
oh my gosh.
The crowd is looking like maybe like 4 or 5 people. Oh, and nobody's facing this way. All the tables are this way.
So now they're mad. They're mad now.
Everybody's looking this way, and everybody has to turn to look at the stage. So I'm not in the camera. So everybody's turned this way, like eating, having a good time. And the DJ's behind him. So everybody's like vibing. And then I go on stage like, and like maybe 3 or 4 people are looking off like, and they just like go back to eating. And then they're like wondering where the music is.
Yeah.
So finally the mic turns on. And I'm like, what's up? And I just try to approach it like the improv, like a group of people who just like the stage is set perfectly and all of this stuff. And it wasn't. It required a completely different approach.
Yes.
And my IQ was not that high at the time. It was pretty early on for me. And man, I bombed bad.
Man, how long were you up there?
It felt like forever. You know, to be honest, you know, bombing time ain't really like real time. Like,
nah.
Bombing 3 minutes, like a legit bombing, it feels like 20 minutes. Oh, man. Okay. Shout out to Sean Sarvis. Please go grab his book. It's a
absolutely really, you got to get it. The Father, the Son, and the Comedian.
Yeah, and Sean is a legend in my eyes, and I couldn't tell my comedy story without Sean Sarvis. So please go get his book if you're watching.
Absolutely.
But the circus is a whole nother story. But I want to say this. So I bombed so bad, and Donnell was hosting the Last at the Harbor show.
Okay.
I don't even want to say the worst part of that. I'll tell you about the worst part of that show offline. But if you go on Facebook, you have to like search for it because I don't promote this. But there's a picture of me with Big Tigger with his arm around me. And you can like see like the bomb is coming out of my pores. And like like Big Tigger is like smiling, like, come on, man. And let me tell you what happened in that picture. So I bombed. I ran off stage. The DJ immediately discovers how to intro people. So he's like scratching. Come on, everybody, get hype. Get hype. Y'all ready for your host? Y'all ready for your host? Like I was just doing a gift spot, like a cold open. He's like, you ready for your host? Give it up for Donnell Rollins. So mind you, the walk off the stage is so far.
Yeah.
I'm going upstairs legitimately. I'm walking up the stairs at the show to go cry because it's like a private area. So I'm going up there to not legitimately cry, but maybe. And I'm going up there to like cry. Big Tigger like stops me. He puts his arm around me. He's like, listen, man, I saw you kill all weekend. I get it. It just wasn't your night. Don't worry about it. While he's saying that, Donnell is on stage destroying me.
Oh, like, no.
Like whatever the code was to get the crowd hype, it was making fun of me in that moment. Because he was like, I mean, and it was like nothing. He was like, man, that guy sucked. And they were like, ah! Like they lost it.
Wow.
And so I bombed. Someone's on stage making fun of me bombing.
Yeah.
And Big Tigger's like, yo, man. So all of that is what happened in that picture. So in the picture,
Oh, that's terrible.
and Big Tigger's like, come on, man, keep your head up, man. It's gonna be all right. And yeah. And do I have time for a second story?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. So Sean Sarvis is asking about the circus. So
yeah,
which is another crazy story, man. And let me tell you, I say this one quick thing. Like the crazy thing about the comedy game is you just never know. You never know. You just never know how things are gonna connect, and it's crazy. So I met Sean at I mean everybody does that. I get it, but I met Sean at an art gallery in Temple Hills, I want to say it was. Okay. And I don't even know if he knows this, but I found out about this contest that he was doing, and I didn't have a car at the time. So I took the metro to Branch Avenue, and I walked to his art show, which is a heck of a walk. But it was no, that's actually not true. I met Sean at City of Praise, I think. Shout out to Bishop Joel and Pastor Yolanda. But I think I met Sean at City of Praise. But the reason why the circuit, the way the circus happened was it was Temple Hills. So the way that the circus happened is Sean had this contest in this art gallery. And what else, Skeeter? You need to smile in your profile picture, brother. It's gonna be all right. So we had to show that he had this contest at this art gallery, and it was me and Terrence J. Hobbs, who's a pastor now, and we did this contest to see like who would perform at the circus. And it was a great opportunity, and Sean was great because we were young comics. He had no reason to put us under his wing like that. And I believe Terrence and I won the contest, or he was first place and I was second place, or vice versa. I don't remember, but I think I got second place and he got first place. So we both got a chance to perform at the circus.
Yeah.
And we didn't know any details. It was just like, yo, I'm gonna perform at the Universal Circus. That's all we knew.
Yeah.
So we show up to the Universal Circus, and we have to be in the tent early. So let's say the circus starts at 7:30, right? Well, let's say the circus starts at 8, but doors open at 7:00, right? So the circus starts at 8. Like you ain't seeing no elephants, you ain't seeing not a lion, you ain't seeing a monkey, you ain't seeing a pit bull until 8:00. But the doors open at 7, and that gives people time to like come in, get some popcorn, funnel cake, whatever they have. Yeah. We gotta be there at 7.
Yeah.
We get there at 7, and it's like one of my first big opportunities. This is way before improv or any of that. Yeah. So we get there 7:00. I'm looking at Sean and Terrence, and we all just sitting there. Nobody had come over and said a word to us. We literally are just sitting in an empty Universal Circus tent waiting to do stand-up. And we all supposed to do like 3 minutes, I think.
Oh man, okay.
So finally, like 7:15, you start to see like families come in and they're choosing seats, sitting down, and it's just like it's what you do before it's what you do 30 minutes before any event starts. You're just sitting there waiting for it to start. Right. Finally, one of the coordinators comes over and they're like, hey, here's the mic. So y'all ready? We're like, what? Like, so what? How's this gonna go? And they're like, oh, we're about to get started right now. You're ready? Like on like a hey, we're ready to go right now. Yeah. When I say, all right, when you think of performing at the circus, you're thinking of like the lights, the rotating lights. You're thinking like elephants are gonna be like jumping around you. You're like people are gonna be blowing fire while you're there. They're gonna like put all the lights on you, so it's like a really intense moment, and the whole crowd gonna like that circus energy. And you think, like, all right, cool. It's going to be a little bit of an adjustment because it's the circus and it might be kids here, but it's still stand up and they're going to put like a stage together and set me up right. They put us up like 10 minutes before the circus started. They didn't tell nobody we was coming. They just threw us up there. And I think I was first. Or maybe Sean went up and introduced us. I don't remember. But I remember I was first. And I went up there and I said, what's up? Up, 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 up. It just echoed. It's like I never bombed in 3D before. But it was, and think about it like this. So you in the middle of a circus tent in complete darkness with a microphone. So people are literally, imagine you walking into a circus and somebody's like, how's all the ladies? Where all the ladies at? Clap your hands. And you don't know where this mic is coming from. You don't know who's talking. You don't know where this mic is coming from. You don't know stand-up comedy is even coming. You came here to see a lion and a tiger. And a man in Nike boots is on stage yelling at you. And you don't know where it's coming from. We did the show.
Yeah.
And man, it was one of those bombs where it was like it didn't happen. The crowd didn't even know we were there. By the time the crowd realized, like, oh, they're telling jokes, it was time to go.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
And it was like so it was like one mom. I remember this distinctly because ahead of me, like everybody was trying to choose seats on the side because they want to see when the animals come out. There was one mom who brought her kid there, and she sat the kid down, and she ran off to go somewhere else. So the whole time I'm telling jokes, this kid is just looking at me like this.
Oh man, I bet that really boosted your confidence there, bro.
Then his mom came back with some popcorn, and he was like, I was like, wow, I just lost 2 popcorn. And there was like one guy who was like, I think it was either Sean or Terrence. I remember Sean or Terrence being like, man, y'all not even listening. And I just remember one guy from like all the way up top was like, I'm listening. And that's when I realized the worst part about bombing is when there's somebody listening. Shout out to Pastor Hobbs. Yeah. So that's the worst part about bombing is when the worst thing you could say to somebody who bombed is, I thought you were good. Like that shows that they know they were in the minority. That means the circus is probably number 2 on my list.
That's number 2.
That is the number 2 bomb on my list.
The worst thing, yeah.
That circus
when you bombed.
That circus was so bad that after it, God called Terrence to preach. He was like, he saved him from having to do that again. He was like, you know what, you're good. Just go ahead. Me and Sean haven't gotten a call yet, but I ended up doing the circus again. So maybe I'm out of order. But that man, let I tell you, I get it. That was not it.
Yeah, that's bad, dude. Hey, man, you know what, Kasaun? But it is part of the business. I mean, no matter how good you are, I don't care how great you become in this craft. The bomb can happen at any time, and you never see it coming because it's got so many other things to do with just you. I mean, yes, it's on you, but it can be the way you're introduced. It could be the mood of the crowd. It could be the climate. It could be too hot. The acoustics of the room could be bad. They contribute to a bad experience, and it can happen. So it's the ugly part of it. But the better you get, the less it happens. And you're one of those comics where I'm sure it doesn't happen to very often anymore. And I doubt that you'll have too many more of those, but it's a part of it.
I had to get on stage. Like, you got to get on stage. You know what I'm saying? Once you, like, I remember seeing people like Sean and Donnell and watching like these great comics go on stage. And it would be, all right. So there will be times, and it's not necessarily me, but I'm just saying in general, there will be times where I will watch people go on stage and they will come off and be like, yo, man, this crowd ain't it tonight. They ain't got it. And then I will watch Sean go on stage and do this like 5 times. He knows what joke that is. He would go on stage and do that. Or and destroy the room. And you realize that it's like, yo, it's not like, it's one thing to be like, it's to have a rough show, but it's another thing to like, it's it, you know, once you see the greats go on stage and take a crowd that everybody thinks is dead, and then they make lemonade out of lemons, then you learn like, yo, you really just got to get on stage. Like, you just got to get, because you learn how to move. Like, I remember Sean being like, yo, they're not ready. They don't want to hear all these stories. Like, just get to it. Like, they've been 2 hours, just get to it.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, snap. And with the IQ that he has, like, he realized, like, let me cut the, you know what I'm saying? Let me cut the fat and just get to the jokes. And he'll go up there.
Just get right to it. Yeah.
Destroy.
And then you have to get to the point. If you like to tell stories, you got to get their permission. So you got to get to it, get 3, 4, 5 good ones, get them laughing. Now you got the space, you know, to kind of tell a story. They're willing to listen and hear you out now because you made them laugh. So yeah, it's all about learning the ebbs and flows of a set, and it takes a lot of pain to get to that point where you go, okay, all right, that's how it goes. So, hey, Kasaun, look, man, I appreciate you being on the show, man. Like I said, I wanted to get you on this platform, ladies and gentlemen. This will be on Roku TV in 2 days. We're on the Creative Motion Network, the Maurice Brown Show. So this will air in 2 days on Roku TV. Check us out. You can check out all of my shows where I sit down and chop it up with some of the best comics in the faith-based world. And Kasaun Wilson is definitely one of the best. Kasaun, thanks again for being on the show, man. I appreciate you, brother.
It's my absolute pleasure. Follow me on IG at The Life of KAY. Check out my podcast, The Life of, Apple Podcast, Spotify. And if you go on my IG, The Life of KAY, in my bio, it's all the information for Kay's house party starting up in October. And man, I appreciate it. This is a great platform, man. This is dope.
Hey, man, now, you know, I love kicking it with you, brother. And this is definitely not going to be the last invitation I send your way. You're one of my favorite guests to have on the show, man. So be looking for another call from me very soon, Kasaun. And we got to hook up, man. I mean, once this pandemic is over, we got to hook up and do some more stuff. Matter of fact, I've got something in the works coming up real soon that I'm working on that I will be calling you about. I'm going to put this show on another platform, and I just got a bunch of ideas, but I'll talk with you offline about it. But I got something coming up very soon, and I want you to be a part of it. So I'll be in touch with you on that. Ladies and gentlemen, on the Maurice Brown Show.
If you let me know a week in advance, I'll actually get my hairline taken care of.
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, the very funny and talented Kasaun Wilson. Thanks again, Kasaun, for being on the show, brother. God bless you.
Bless you, man. Love you, bro.